Cousin! What's up, cousin? What's up?
Hey, cousins. Long time no see. Cousins, I am still having the most difficult time trying to get situated on timing. But I do at least put up the scriptures for today. And today's scripture is Esther 4:14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall there enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Cousin, that's the scripture for the day, Esther 4:14. In other words, cousin, what it's saying is if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's place, you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Oh, cousin, it's funny. Are you guys keeping up with what's happening in the presidential office, dismantling all of these departments, getting rid of DEI, interfering and dismantling Department of Education? Here's the latest thing I have. Just listen. It's uploading.
Employees were laid off this week. Combine that with the recent mass resignations, and the agency only has about half of the staff that it did in January. Liam Knox is a reporter with Inside Higher Ed, and he joins us now. Liam, thanks a lot for joining us. Can you just remind us, for people who don't pay as much attention as you do to the Department of Education, what it does, just as a department?
Thanks for having me, John. The Education Department historically has a pretty limited purview. Its main role is financial. It oversees the distribution of federal grants, financial aid, and funding for K-12 schools. It also investigates civil rights violation. It oversees the college accreditation system, and it conducts research on education policies. What they don't do is decide things like school curriculum or admission policies at colleges.
And a big part of these cuts, you mentioned civil rights. The Civil Rights Division is seeing cuts. What does that mean in practice?
Well, the Civil Rights Division oversees tens of thousands of complaints every year at schools and on campuses of discrimination. And historically, their mandate's been to respond to specific complaints and investigate them. Now, even when they were fully staffed, that was a tall order. After losing half of their employees, as they did last night, it's going to be pretty much impossible. What's interesting about this is that the administration has made it clear that certain OCR responsibilities, like cracking down on schools' DEI initiatives or investigating campus anti-Semitism, are a priority for them. And so the Civil Rights Office will likely be less of a responsive agency investigating student complaints and more in the business of launching investigations based on national media coverage, like the cuts at Columbia University for its student protests and at the University of Maine over their transgender athlete policies.
We got about 20 seconds left. Where else might people start to feel or recognize the disappearance of a department in their local schools?
Well, they're already feeling it to some extent, the immediate impacts of these cuts. The Office of Federal Student Aid lost a few hundred employees last night, and many worked on the FAFSA, the federal aid form, ensuring it ran smoothly. Already this evening, families of high school seniors applying for financial aid are experiencing technical errors. Complaints of racial discrimination have already begun to back up at the OCR, which has now been gutted. But really, the long-term effects of these cuts are only going to make themselves clear with time. And it's that uncertainty that has most people
Trump is starting to enact his pledge to close the Department of Education. 1,300 employees were laid off this week. Combine that with the recent mass resignations, and the agency only has about half of the staff that it did in January. Liam Knox is a reporter with Inside Higher Ed, and he joins us now. Liam, thanks a lot for joining us. Can you just remind us, for people who don't pay as much attention as you do to the Department of Education?
There you have it, guys. We got to pay attention to what's happening around us. Pay attention to what's happening to us. How it's affecting our kids who have special needs. Our little ones who are into VPK programs. And how it's affecting the teachers who teach those classes, the aides who help in those classes, and the schools who receive funding for those classes. Cousins, stay abreast. Pay attention to what's happening. Click like, share, and comment. Peace. Have a good day.